Hey guys, welcome to Podcast on Wheels, powered by Power Loops. Today we have a special guest here. Greg, I've known for a few months, but he's become a great friend. It's like we've known each other for 40 years, you know. Greg has his Finney Performance Academy. He has a gym. He has been on stage. He's arm wrestled. He's sold products. He's now living in Vegas and has a lot of things coming down the pipeline. So, Greg, thank you for being here today.
Hey, thank you. I'm really happy to be here.
Awesome. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about your story. You had a business, you had a plan, you're at an age and you're going for things. So tell us where you're at with that.
Yes, I'm 51 years old. I've actually owned 17 businesses through the years. I've lost some. I've done great with some. I've had two exits. I just recently had an exit of a large waste industry company I have. I moved out to Vegas to build my performance academy up and my coaching. At the same time, Brad Lee, who's been a mentor of mine for years, was nice enough to help make the connections for me, bring down here. I'm actually working for Bradley right now. It's been amazing. Every day I learn something new. I get to learn from one of the greats, all while building my coaching up.
Yeah. Yep. And, guys, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. When I take trips to Vegas and I tell you I hang out with really good people, this is my guy right here. This is my guy. I stay at his house. We hang out. We have cigars. We have chats. And one cool thing, I got to brag on you right here, Greg. You and I have talked, and we've got some tattoos, we've got some stories, but a lot of our conversations come back to our faith in God and what He's done and where we've been. So, Greg, tell us a little bit about your relationship and your faith.
So, I was at a point in my life, I was really down. The business wasn't going good. I went through a horrible, horrible relationship, and I was just in a bad place. And I came to the belief that God was created out of fear and that God didn't exist anymore. And I was really, really bitter. Well, one of my close friends that I feel real highly from, his name's Nathan, and he's like you. He's a very faith based, and he would always, not preach to me, but say, just got to come to church, man. So because he was the closest thing to God I knew, and he was such an amazing person, I actually tried to emulate him and be like him more because he was so good. And I would go to church and just be, looking at my watch, not paying attention, just not engaged. And one day, Pastor Derek at Grace and McCain said, "I'm going to go out on a limb here," and he goes, "Have you ever thought God was created out of fear?" And I looked up, and I'm way in the back, and he goes, I felt like he looked at me, and he said, "Has God ever been created out of fear?" I was just tuned in. And after we were done, I went down there. He had a bunch of people around him. I said, "Man, I got to talk to you right now." I was a big, scary guy at the time. And he looked at me and he said, "It's kind of busy." I said, "Listen, I need to talk to you." So we ended up talking for a long time. And I ended up joining the church, going through all the courses. I ended up being baptized 12 years ago as God and Lord as my Savior. It was my choice this time. I was baptized as a child, as a Catholic. And so many things have come into my life. You have come into my life. You've been a big impact in my life. Everything that's happening since I've been out here, Brad coming into life. I've just met the most amazing woman in the world. I've like my whole life has still been a struggle, but now I know God's got a plan for me, so I don't think about the struggle. I just, push every day and grind every day and try to live by God's rule. And I tell people, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God or you're on the fence, if you just live by His commandments, by His law, you're a better person, you're a better father, you're a better son, you're a better husband, you're just better society. And I try to live every day like that. And I have true testimonies and miracles that I spend 5 podcasts on what He has done for my life since that I've accepted Him and believed in Him and called to Him.
Yeah, and it's obvious when I get to talk to you, brother, because you and I have had conversations, and I want to kind of explain this to people who will be watching this show because, in a way, you and I have had this that it's almost selfish for me to get to pour into a guy like you, because I get that gratification. And you and I've talked about it. You are a giver. You know, you posted a video on your Instagram the other day, and I know that we've done things in the past that you went and you bought some food, you took it out to some homeless people, and you did that. And there's going to be people say, well, he should do it and not post it, or he should do this, and how should he do that? But, you know, for me, it's like, hey, you did that and you posted it to show. And when I see it, I'm challenged to go do that. Right, Greg? Like, that's what it's supposed to do with right people that have the right mentality. They're like, hey, if he can do it, you know, you're not you've been millionaire status, you've been here, your business, right? Like, you've been here and there, but you've always been a giver. So when you go out and you give out the food, or you're meeting with people, or you're picking up stuff for the staff and teams, like what does that do for you? Wow, what is that about?
It's like you said, it's almost selfish. So I've been doing it for 7 months, and even if I don't have the money, I'll put it on a credit card. And I watched a guy online, and it completely inspired me to give. Like it's a double-edged sword, because when I had millions of dollars, I didn't do anything for anybody, and other than my family. And now I don't have the resources. Something hit me, and one day I just felt like God called me to give and help people that need me and that need us. And I've been doing it for 7 months. And I had an influencer. I was commenting on the guy that influenced me into doing it. And I said, you know, I gave out my go bags today, and I do it every Saturday. And I said, but I don't record it. And he told me, and I don't record because I see all the hate. Oh, you're doing it for followers. You have the wrong intentions. Then he responded to me. He goes, what are all the people that are hating doing? And he goes, two, my videos encouraged you to do it. Am I wrong? And I was like, no. He goes, you need to post these videos because somebody else is going to be encouraged by you. And the only person you should care about the comment is Jesus upstairs. He goes, he's the only person that matters. And it is selfish in a way, because I've felt empty my whole life. I've had millions of dollars. I've had the nice cars, the nice houses, the shiny watch, object syndrome. And it never fulfilled me. I never was truly happy. And now I'm happy. I have less money than I had, before. I have struggles. I have a new business, but I'm truly happy. And when I'm giving, and you see somebody that, like, I had a guy that it's like the second or third time I've seen him, and he's missing legs, and he's got some sort of Parkinson's, something. He shakes real bad. He's seen me, and he's like, oh my god, oh my god. He calls me his Black Knight because I have a black SUV, and he goes, I ate all that peanut butter and jelly. I bought the cheapest peanut butter and jelly you could buy at the Dollar Tree. That's where I go. I mean, peanut butter and jelly. Like, he acted like I took him to Fleming's for a steak. And the fact that something so little, like, meant so much. He acted like I would have acted if somebody bought me a new car.
Mm-hmm.
And it just crushed me. Like, I couldn't even drive. I'm getting choked up now. And it was just,
Yeah.
it was such an amazing feeling, and painful feeling, but great feeling to know that me, like, that I impacted someone's life. Years ago, I used to be a taker. I grew up poor. My mom was the most amazing. I grew up without a dad. My mom was the most amazing woman in the world. But she worked 3 jobs, so I was out running the streets and doing everything you can. I'd look at you and, what could you do for me? What could you do for me today? When I made that shift, and I started giving, and I started helping, and it's not about money or tithing. Like, it's about when you shake someone's hand, you look them in the eyes with true intention, and you ask them, how are you doing? And be prepared to listen. And everybody's struggling in some way in their life. It's depending on how they have it, or if they have God in their life. And once I started giving and trying to help people and trying to do things and just trying to make people smile, and make people laugh. I don't care if you're laughing at me or with me. My whole life has changed, and I've been blessed to meet people like you and all the other people that have come into my life. And it's been the most amazing journey.
Awesome. And Greg, I want to, back at you on the appreciation because, one thing that you were able to teach me and show me as we spent time together in Vegas was, you know, I used to go to Vegas for different reasons, right? And I would go there to party, have fun, do different things. The last trip, and this is one thing that I want to share. Me, you, and a guy named Justin, and there might have been another guy or two at the table, but I remember the conversation gets about 10 p.m. at night, and we all start talking about we're missing our wives and we're ready to go to bed, and it's 10 o'clock at night in Vegas and there's an event, right? I mean, like, that's different for me. That's different.
Me too.
And what I'm feeling is like, we've connected, and then you connect me with guys like Jay, and then guys like a Hyder in Nashville that he's out there. He's my buddy. You meet him. We take a little trip one night, talk about some things, and now we're doing each other's podcast, and you're developing your brand, and things are growing. And I wish God would tell us when all this is going to hit big, right? I mean, I wish we had that timeline there. But Greg, as a guy that your resilience, your grit, your I'm going to keep going attitude, I know that's got to be hard. We're good friends and we talk about things, but you told me something about where you keep your slippers and when you get up in the morning. So how do you start your day from that mentality, right?
I actually learned that from Denzel Washington. And, I don't think so many people know how faith-based he is and how inspirational he is and how devoted to his wife he is. I keep my slippers underneath the bed because I have to get down in the morning and reach down and get on my knees. And when I'm down there, I give gratitude and thanks for everything that I have in my life. And that resonated with me several years ago. And I do it. It's you start your day with gratitude. You start your day with appreciation that you opened your eyes. Everything else during the day aren't problems anymore. You just have solutions. You're going to work it out. You're going to figure it. God never promised me that I was going to have an easy life. Never promised me that he's going to give me what I want, but he's going to give me the challenges to go after the things I want. And I have the ability and the intellect to overcome those obstacles and challenges.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Greg, we've talked about a little bit about you've moved to Vegas. You started working with Brad. Your office there, in that office, if you will, is badass. And I really like the knife that you got on the front of your desk that was given to you by a guy we all know. Could you tell us a little bit of that story so it could allude to the business you had and kind of what you used to do?
Yes, I used to own a large dumpster company, waste company, construction dumpsters. And Donald Trump was coming to the Erie airport, and the Secret Service called me, and they wanted to rent dumpsters for barricades. So we put barricades around there, and I said I would really like to go to the rally. So I literally sat two spaces down from Donald Trump, and then when I was done with the event, he rewarded me with this big Bowie knife. This thing's massive and it's engraved with Donald Trump. It's a nice letter, thanks, and so I put it proudly in my office when you come in, and it's great over at Brad's. I mean, he's got just a beautiful, beautiful office, beautiful setting, and I was able to make mine in my office, mine, and decorate it with the things that I'm proud of.
And that's cool. And those are the stories that you have because of the intellect you have, the opportunities that you've created, and the network that you're continuing to build. What are some of the things that you've noticed in your life here recently that, like you said, things are good, things are happening, things are coming, but what are some things that you may recognize today? Because I know for me, I'll say even my brother, who's known me his whole life, he's younger, but he told me about a month ago, Greg, he looked at me and he goes, Brian, you're a lot more chill. You're a lot more calm with things these days. And coming from my brother, he and I used to beat each other's ass growing up, right? I mean, it's my brother. We've had our fights, But we're at one of my kids' ball games the other day, and he tells me, he's like, Brian, you're different. You're more calm. You're relaxed. So, Greg, you've helped me get there. So, being a guy that I can call and talk to, and you've listened to me vent a few times. You can tell people, I mean, we're real with each other. We're real because at the end of the day, you've taught me that, we can share these things, but we're still men, and we're going to provide, and we're going to take care of our family. And you take care of a lot of people in your family, right? So, well, what is that inside of you? How could somebody get a little bit of Greg in them? Like, what is that?
Well, what I've been learning and sharing, and I grew up tough. I grew up fighting. I grew up, in rough neighborhoods, and you didn't cry. You didn't act like a little wimp. And I think the best men out there, and even the most dangerous men, are the ones that have the ability to do evil, the ability to impose your will on other people. But if you can have compassion and cry and open up and tell people your struggles, doesn't make you any less of a man, doesn't make you any weaker than a man. And lately, things that have come into my life is perfect strangers. I was in a sauna the other day, and I was telling somebody how I used to judge my worth on my net worth. I used to judge my value on something I have, and now that I don't look at that this way, I look at what I give and what I do, not what I have, because you can't take none of it to the graveyard with you, And I had a guy open up. We're a room full of men. I'm tattooed all up, big scary scars down my arms, and
Yeah,
I'm not the most approachable looking guy, but as soon as you talk to me, I'm a great guy. We got all these guys in the sauna, and I'm telling the story, and all of a sudden this guy is I believe I hope I didn't say that wrong or offend anybody, but he's a Middle Eastern, and he speaks up in this room of guys where we're all supposed to act tough and not be vulnerable and that. And he goes, man, I listened to your story just now. And he goes, I'm a mess. My girl left me 2 weeks ago, and I'm actual a prominent psychiatrist. Like, I know what I need to do, but I can't do it. I'm struggling. He goes, I was the opposite of you. I have all the money in the world, but I'm emotionally empty right now. And now we could become friends. I've kind of ministered to him a few times and met him and helped him get closure and deal with that situation. And I'm just like, I've been there, man. I was the point where a woman had me in, laying a fetal position and not wanting to work and letting my business go and not being around my kids and thinking it's the end of the world. And everybody says there's plenty of fish in the sea, but we don't feel like fishing, man. And I feel that you have to find that balance. If you just act like a rah big tough guy, you're robbing the world of some beautiful things in your life that you could share with people.
absolutely. And that's so cool that, you're in a room like that, the guy reaches out, and it's almost like you have the shapes that fill holes that his shapes don't fill, and then y'all can, communicate. But here's the cool thing, Greg. I know you, I know your heart. And it's like, whether that guy had this, that, or the other, he came to you with the need, and you were like, all right. And you have that big of a heart. So I wanted to kind of establish, who Greg is, because you've had a lot of coaches. Your network, bro. Every day I go to your Instagram, I'm like, who's Greg getting to hang out with this weekend in Vegas, and who's he sharing stories with? Who's he having a cigar with? What kind of cool cars is he riding in this week? Who's he meeting? What's the cool stuff? But at the end of the day, you're a real dude. You care about people. You're faith based. You, you know, I didn't see you as unapproachable when I met you, but that's because it looked like, I guess, me and you might have walked out of the same bar at some point. But it's like, you know, somebody wants to train with you. Somebody wants to hire you as a coach. Somebody says, hey, I see myself in this. I see opportunity to grow with Greg. So if they want to find you on Instagram, if they want to coach with you, like, give us some stuff here. How could they get in touch with you? What are some programs? What's coming for Greg?
Yeah, so I'm building my coaching program, which is Finney Performance Academy. So I used to do bodybuilder coaching. I used to do personal training. I used to do, a little self development. And, I've competed. I used to arm wrestle. I used to do MMA. I wrestled at school. I've been an athlete my whole life. I did my first bodybuilding show at 14 years old, and big mullet, and and it was an interesting time. Now, though, I could write. Anybody could write you a meal plan. Anybody can write you a workout. But then, as soon as you're done, it fails. Diet is stands for die. It doesn't work. It doesn't last. It'll get you to a show, and it just doesn't. Bodybuilding coaching and things like that just didn't resonate with me more anymore. But I love helping people, but I got to make a living too. And the way I do it now is I audit your whole life. I look at why are the behaviors. I change the behaviors. I would like a glorified time manager. I look at your sleep. Do we got to get a sleep study? We get your blood work so we can get all your hormones and everything corrected right. We look at your relationships, the cortisol from stress that goes in your body. We try to find different times, and I teach people to be intentional with everything they do. If you're at the park with your kids, get off the cell phone, get off the computer, and be intentional. I'd rather see you 1 hour with your kids with true intentions than 5 hours and you don't even know what they're doing because your head's in your phone. I look at people that say, "Oh, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to," if you don't have your health, that is true wealth because all the money in the world. I mean, Steve Jobs said it best. I can't pay someone to die for me. You have one life and it's so short. I'm 51 years old. I don't know where the time went, but I know the time that I do have left, I don't waste a moment of it. I use it every single minute of my time. I'm a time management junkie. And that's what I help people do is I help people change their lifestyle, their habits, their behaviors so they can live a healthy life. I know a lot of very wealthy people that are very unhealthy. And that's not true happiness. And when you feel better, you want to meet more people. When you feel better, you're more confident. People want to do business with you, even frankly. When they see someone that's in better shape, they know the discipline that goes into that. So you're more apt to get more opportunities in business when you're healthy and look healthy and you feel good and you live longer. And it's not all about the money. Obviously, I do it for money because I want, but it's my passion. I made more money when I had my company. I'm out here meeting new people every day, and that's all by God's design because everybody that's coming in place, I do my go backs. I just met a guy the other night, and he said, "Hey, tomorrow he has vanilla and rice. His hibachi takeout place here, amazing, amazing food. They're doing a bunch of meals for me today." I met another guy named Alex. Owns a big real estate company. Just met him at an event the other night. He called me last night and said, "Hey, I want in on those. I'm going to buy some of those bags today." And then he texted me and said, "Hey, let's just go to Costco and load up." So now I went from giving 10 go bags a week to now I don't know how many we're going to give out today and what we're going to do today. And it's amazing. Um, if you are looking for coaching, that's the kind of coaching I do. I try to change your lifestyle and your habits so it's sustainable long term and help you achieve the life you want around the lifestyle that you have. You if you enjoy things, we just got to find it in moderation. So you can find me at Greg Finney, FPA. It's Finney Performance Academy on Instagram, and just DM me, and we can have a conversation. I spend a lot of time talking to people without charging them to find out if we're a right fit or a good fit and if I can help them with their lifestyle and change things. And I love it. And it's been great. And so many doors are opening to me. I'm meeting everybody where you're in the Mecca capital of the world. There's 50 million people a year that come here. So I'm meeting people all over the world and I'm changing lives. And it's just the most amazing and rewarding feeling for me. And I can make money at it. So it's win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Greg, just the I'm trying to remember how long we've known each other because it does seem like a lot longer, but let's see, 3, 9,
It's been about
6.
nine months, I think.
Okay, about 9 months. And I'm looking at this going, you know, how awesome is it that I meet a guy that is doing exactly what I want to do. And he's helping people, and you've been able to mentor me. And when I stayed with you in Vegas, we went to the breakfast place and we sit and talk, and you lay out some things that I need to do and how I need to get them done. And I come back home, make some adjustments. And I'll say, guys, I'm sitting right here with a master's degree in sports science. I have been a professional athlete. I've worked out, I've trained, but when getting with Greg and him looking at my blood work and making some, hey, maybe try this, let's do this, let's look at this option, maybe start training like this, and you adjusted my cardio based off your recommendation. And since we've had that conversation, I'm now at 240 pounds, about 13% body fat. So I'm feeling great. And that's
you look great. The working.
Thank you. And that's a testament to that what you're talking about. You can reprogram their mindset, their time management, and all that. But once they get that going, now you're like, here's the icing on the cake, bro. Let's get that body in shape. Let's make better deals, because I don't know. I got a question for you, and I'm gonna just catch you here. When you're in your office and people come by to do this show, was somebody that you got to hear something from, meet, or I used to think Andy Elliott was big until I saw him next to you. I was like, okay, all right, Andy's not as big as he looks against Greg. So, but like, what are some things that you've gotten to do that you're like, well, that was cool.
As far as since I've been out here,
Yeah, this time.
I mean, I'm meeting just the people, the interactions, the lifestyles of people from every walk of life, every, from athletic backgrounds to not athletic backgrounds and I've been fortunate. This seems like everybody that I'm meeting, I'm giving them some kind of value, and I'm changing something in their life, and it's resonating with them. And in turn, they're introducing me to people. I'm meeting new connections. I'm meeting new people every day. And it's been absolutely amazing for me. Like every day I wake up, I literally, I have true intentions, and I have things that I do and some non-negotiables, but every day, because of me just talking to people and me being me, I'm having people want to help me now. I'm having people want to reach out to me. I'm having people want to actually give me value. And it's been amazing. Relationships are everything. Relationships and family and God, man. If you have that in your life, you're rich in every sense of the way.
Amen. Amen, brother. Amen. And just, getting to tour Las Vegas with you last time, because every other time I've been, like I said, I've either been on my own or with another group, but being able to tour with you, we go into the 8 Lounge cigar place, and the guy that runs the other place comes over and wants to talk to you about some events that are coming up, and y'all talk. And by the end of the night, it's like, wow, how many people did Greg just meet by meeting that one guy, right? Because who does he know and what's he bringing? And the cool thing is I've never, obviously this is recorded, this is going out, but Greg, you've never asked me for anything, and you have provided value every time we've talked. And if I was a client, obviously I would be paying you to coach. And there's, even though it's a ministry, it's still a business, is how I like to say it. It's your calling, it's your ministry. But the more you get, and when your cup runneth over, you're just going to give to more people. It's like you're already living that. You're not going to change once these millions come back, because you've already been there, done that. You just, I don't know what round of the boxing match it is, but you're still in there slugging it out, and you're going to come back from that. So it's like you're there. So people are going to be attracted to you, Greg. The more people that get to meet you, the more people that get to talk to you. And that's why I wanted to feature that part of you, who you are and what you can get people to do, because you have had would you say rough life growing up, or just?
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of adversity. I've lost everything several times over. In 2006, I lost $22 million, and I lost everything and was homeless, and ended up doing 5 years in a federal penitentiary for a white collar crime that I
Yeah.
really feel that I did. I mean, I did it, but it was just a clerical paper error and mortgage, and they were looking for people to, to like scapegoats because the banks couldn't fail. And something that was the best thing that happened to me, honestly, because even though I felt I was being honest and doing the right thing, I was helping people buy homes that couldn't buy homes without me. But it changed my whole connection with God, my connection with my family. It made me realize what's really important in life. Like I said, it's material things and nice things are fun, and it's nice to have, but it's relationships. I had a guy tell me, he said, if you died today, if you were gone today, and you were looking up at your eulogy, who would be there? What would they be saying? And would you like what they were saying?
Mhm.
And it crushed me. It crushed me because I didn't know. I'd like to think some people liked me, but when you have money, you don't know who your real friends are or aren't. I got the opportunity to really know who my real friends are not when you're in a tough situation. You find out really fast who was really there for you or who was just enjoying you. And now I know if I died today, I feel really confident that if I was looking down, that there were people there to say I affected their life, that I touched their life, that I gave value to the world. I want to build a legacy not on what I have, but what I've given.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm gonna steal something from a guy named Keaton that goes by the Muscle on his Instagram channel and stuff. And he said, he looks at it as when he gets to heaven, he's going to be judged by the amount of people that are standing there with him that he was able to help and touch and bring. And that's his goal, is how many people, once he gets there, are there because of him and maybe got to do things. And Greg, I'm a huge fan of yours, bro. I mean, even your setup, your look there. I'm thinking I'm in something cool here at Toy Hauler, and I'm like, geez, look at this textured background, the chair, the mic, the hat, the shirt, bro. You always looking good and always presenting yourself well. And as I've grown to expect, you have a brand, right? You're growing that. So, Greg, I know you got to go help the guy with the meal plan. You've got some deliveries to make. I think the Olympia is going on in Vegas this weekend, so you probably got a ton of people who are begging for your time. So as we wrap up this show here, Greg, if somebody's out there and they're looking at, should I start a business? What are some things I should do? What advice would you give somebody? We talk a lot, so take this whichever direction you feel led to speak here. What would you tell somebody looking to start their own thing?
Don't give up on your dreams. The graveyard is full of broken dreams, full of people that didn't do the things they want because a family member, or it's mostly family members and the people close to you that kill your dreams because they don't have the ability to see your vision, or they're stuck in their mediocrity and they're afraid, and they don't want to see you fail because they don't have the vision or the feel they have the ability, because we all have the ability to do anything we want in life if you put your mind to it. And so many people will talk you down and tell you, it's if you believe in something, go after it, because there's no failure, there's only learning. If you fall down, you get back up. I've had businesses fail, I've had businesses be massively successful, but I never let anybody tell me what to do or what not to do in life. I would take advice and I would listen to people, and I would wholeheartedly take it, at face value. But if anybody out there is trying to do something, if you want to do it, you just got to be resourceful. You got to be resilient. You don't give up. When it starts to hurt and it starts to feel painful, that means you are one pickaxe away from getting to the gold. It's a tough journey, a roller coaster of fun and sad and angry and everything along the way. But if you're passionate about it and you really want to make change in your life, you don't want to be on your dying day with a bunch of regret. You want to say, I gave it my best in life and I did everything I possibly did in life. And I did it with integrity and morals and beliefs and backbone and sweat of your brow.
Greg, man, as always, I learn things. I listen to you. I'm trying to be a sponge every chance I get to be around you, brother. Thank you so much. I want to say this, man, as we close up, and I haven't done this on any other show, but bro, I'm proud of you and I'm thankful for our friendship and to see what you're doing and the light inside of you, because I know all the things that's going on a personal level, but to see that, bro, I'm proud of you. I'm thankful for you. And, you know, as we wrap up, guys, he and I get on the phone and pray for each other sometimes, okay? It's okay for guys to pray for each other, right? I did want to make sure I didn't miss that point. But Greg, as always, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm really, really excited about the direction we're going. And I'm so thankful for the friendship that I have with you too.
Awesome, brother. And thank you guys for watching Podcast on Wheels, powered by Power Loops.